Equilibrium 1. As you can see, this is a red card, and red is the first energy center or root in the chakra systems, the root chakra, Muladhara, and it's very much associated with the element of earth, and this is a key thing to appreciate when looking at the card. When you look at the card, curiously enough, she's wading into the water. And we'll come back to that. We'll come back to what exactly could be happening here. And there is no exact, because you can interpret as you like. So it depends where you, in what context you've drawn this card and how you may choose to read it. A little bit more background. It's often associated with the lower parts of the body, the base, the spine, the genitals, that kind of area, and the skeleton, the adrenals. It's also associated with conditions like fatigue, or at the other end being jumpy and unfocused and scattered. And smell, associated with our sense of smell. So these are very primal kind of conditions. The archetypes that it's associated with are two sides of the coin, and that is one, which is the more negative one, is the victim, and the flip positive side is Earth Mother. And again, this is starting to clue us in to what the card is all about. If you like crystals, a good crystal complement is the bloodstone. If you like working with crystals for your meditation, if you want to sit with the card, this is a good stone. There's other ones as well associated. If this energy center is out of alignment, then you may well be ungrounded. You may be unfocused, and the emotional content may be that of the victim. Life is doing to you instead of you being in charge of life. If it's running too fast, you may have an over-controlling kind of thing going on. You may unwittingly be bullying or materialistic, or trying to get things or control things around you to make everything right. On the other side, where you're the victim, you may feel like a low self-esteem. You may have self-destructive thoughts. You may feel needy, that kind of fearful dependency, not really confident about yourself, about who you are and where you turn up in the world or what you're doing. And this can fluctuate. We're never always one thing all at once. To get into balance, we're looking for that self-mastery, for high physical energy, to feel grounded, healthy and happy. So we are looking at two key elements in this at the core, and there's so many different ways to go about getting them. And one is the nurture element, so that goes with building up the Earth Mother, so it's about nurturing ourselves. So if there's an imbalance, it's often because there's not been enough nurture, or currently not enough nurture, or basically a root of that. It could come from your childhood, it could come from somewhere down the line where you're not feeling supported in relationships, and this can kind of tip you over, especially if you haven't got a strong foundation in it. So it's looking at what do you need? Ask that question. What would I need to nurture myself? And you could actually well be a very nurturing Earth Mother person who gives that to other people. Think about what you give, and what you give is that you would like to receive, or you can see lacking for you, is key. So, things to nurture yourself is good food, good exercise, good rest, things that you enjoy, what makes you happy. Where is there a lack of these things potentially right now in your life? Now look at that in relation to the spread and the questions you may have asked. The second key aspect is to do with earth. So this is an earth card. It's very tribal, very primitive. It's at the bottom of the energy centers, and that doesn't make it any less. They're all equal. They just have different functions that complement. Think of the energy centers running like cogs. If one's clogged, the whole lot don't run so well. But this is its primal function, is to be well earthed and well grounded. So often the physical effects that we feel, any lethargy or fatigue, often come from a core lack of earth. And the key symptom can be inflammation in the body. That's a physical symptom which can lead to inflammation is at the core of so many different conditions. So from cancer, diabetes, the heart, fibromyalgia, Alzheimer's, you name it, it's usually the key. And a good counterbalance to lack of earthen, or lack of, this like inflammation, this lack of being grounded, is actually to earth. And recommended strongly is barefoot connection to the earth. Basically more time with nature. And it's not woo-woo to say that, because we are electrical creatures. We have electrons that run that energize the body, and these can get out of balance. And the earth can actually connect, because it's if you think it's got electromagnetic as well, it has that running through the earth, and by making direct contact, and barefoot walking is excellent. And you see in the card, she's barefoot walking in the scene. That's even more awesome. The next energy center is water, so this is a real great connection between earth and water. We are electrical. Walking on the ground allows the electrons to gravitate towards the ones that are lacking in the body. So if you have too much of one, it can attack the body. And what we're looking for is more negatives. We usually have too many positives, which can then create this inflammation. So they can join up. That's like a magnetic force. They'll go in to the body from these sources. You can use other sources as well, and help balance up, which promotes health. So the advice of this card, look at the image, let your imagination run wild, let your connection, let your intuition, your inner wisdom arise. But if you were looking for practical information to help you rebalance, it would be basically looking at how much of a victim you might feel, how much out of control or scattered, and how to ground yourself. And there's so many different ways to ground, but this is really strongly advocating that connection with nature for that physical reconnection, that mental calm, so looking into that. So much more you can add, but that's your basic reading.